Imagine being thrown into command of a country crumbling under social injustices and fighting an unwinnable war across the sea in Vietnam. Our nation's Lyndon B. Johnson was that man. This is Lyndon B. Johnson, our nation's 36th president. Lyndon Baines Johnson was born on August 27, 1908, near Stonewall, Texas. His family were poor farmers. After high school, Lyndon went on to college and then became a teacher. His students were children of poverty, just as he had been. This made a great impact on Johnson. During the Franklin D. Roosevelt administration, Lyndon B. Johnson became a congressman. As congressman, he put in place programs that ensured farmers would receive government help. In 1960, John F. Kennedy ran as president, asking Johnson to be his vice president. The two won the election. Sadly, 3 years later, on November 22, 1963, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. America mourned the death of a great leader. That same day, Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in aboard Air Force One and became the President of the United States. Immediately, Lyndon B. Johnson went to work continuing the work of JFK. Modeling FDR's New Deal, Johnson introduced his Great Society. Lyndon B. Johnson met with civil rights leaders and in 1964 signed the Civil Rights Act, which made discrimination illegal. Johnson also paid much attention and money to the space program, and in 1969, Neil Armstrong became the first American to ever step foot on the moon. Lyndon B. Johnson kept his focus of good education for all, and in 1965, the Head Start program began. The program provided health care, education, nutrition, and parent involvement services to low-income children. But all these great things were overshadowed by the tragedies of the Vietnam War.
North Vietnam. Soon, he sent tens of thousands of American troops to Vietnam, and the numbers rose even higher. By 1968, 500,000 American troops were stationed in Vietnam. They used deadly weapons against the Vietnamese and sprayed herbicides that killed the vegetation where the Viet Cong hid. But the enemy also had advantages. American soldiers struggled with jungle warfare and with a war that had no clearly defined battle lines. And they had a hard time distinguishing between the North Vietnamese and Viet Cong enemy and the friendly South Vietnamese. The Americans mounted search and destroy missions, hoping to weaken the Viet Cong and force North Vietnam to surrender. But in these attacks, many innocent Vietnamese citizens were also killed or wounded.
Americans protested the war and believed it was brutal and unnecessary. The war did not end until 1975, taking with it the lives of 58,220 soldiers. Due to his popularity diminishing because of our involvement in the war, Lyndon Johnson decided not to run for another term in office. Instead, he spent his remaining years on a ranch in Texas until his death in 1973. People can learn about his legacy by visiting the Lyndon B. Johnson Library and Museum in Austin, Texas. Some highs and some lows, but Lyndon B. Johnson will be remembered as a president that improved the lives of the poor and gave civil rights to all.